right, hello and welcome back once again. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about emergency procedure for an engine out. So if you're in the middle of flight, like here we are, we're flying just east of north, and when you're flying east above 3,000, it's an odd 1,000 feet plus 500. So I'm going about 5,500 feet here, and we're just cruising along, and we're going to do an engine out scenario. Now, what we want to do when we realize we have an engine out, so the very first thing, of course, is to get to our best glide speed, which in this 152 is 65 knots. We're going to trim for that. We're going to make sure that's established. Then we're going to look around and pick a landing spot, be it a long field, a highway, an airport. If there's one right under us, that'd be great, or near us. From this altitude, the glide, I think I mentioned before, but it's rule of thumb, it's about a 1.5 mile per 1,000 feet drop. So we're at 5,500. Let's call it 5,000 feet. So that's 5 miles, half of that again. So 7.5 miles, call it 7 miles of glide. So we got a ways, a 7 mile radius we could look for an airport at this altitude. And then once we've selected our landing spot, we're going to see if we can diagnose, figure out, geez, mixtures, fuel selectors, a bunch of different things. So fuel selector, turn on the fuel pump if we have a fuel pump, which we don't in this. Make sure our mixture's full rich. Turn on our carb heat in case there's carburetor icing. Try the mags to restart, because if it's just running rough, sometimes it'll run better on just one mag versus both, and that might cure it. But then you want to find a place to land. And then if nothing works, and it won't, we're not going to let it work this time because we're just going to do this engine out scenario. You squawk 7700 on your transponder, and if you're not talking to ATC already, then you tune to 121.5, which is basically a distress channel. I think they call it guard, and lots of people listen to that. And then secure the aircraft for landing. So turn the fuel selector off, mixture to full lean. Let's see, then turn the key off and turn the master switch off. But the note is, if you have electric flaps, then you want to think about leaving your master on until you're done with the flaps and then turn it off. Unlatch and open the door slightly. It'll stay closed in the wind. But you want to, in case you tumble or anything on the landing, and the frame gets tweaked, you still want to be able to open the door. So have it open a little bit already. And then if you have any loose baggage or whatever, you stow that. So here in the sim, we're going to go ahead and do this. Let me turn on my tracking for a second. And make sure, I already have carb heat on, oops. All right, so carb heat's on, throttle's out. Problem with the engine, okay. Now we don't immediately pitch to 65. We just try to maintain our current altitude and let it slow down as we trim. And then once we hit 65, then we let the nose drop. And we use our elevator trim to try to trim for 65 so we don't have to worry about pushing and pulling on the yoke. And we're pretty darn close to trimmed for it now. That's actually looking pretty good. A little below, I think. No, it's right on it. Okay, so next we're going to look around for a place to land. What have we got? Boy, I don't know. Not seeing a whole lot. So I'd pull out and, oh, look at that. There's an airport dead ahead of us. Let's take a look at our chart that I would normally pull up in the airplane. But we'll use this one. Where are we? GPS tracking. We might be able to make that field. That looks like Norwood. From this altitude, I think we can make that. So let's head that way. Head direct to the airport. We might get lucky in this one. All right, so now we have a landing spot picked out. I'm pretty sure we're going to make it from this altitude. So let me turn my head tracking off for a moment. And so next, let's try to diagnose. Let's take a look and say, all right, do we turn the carb heat? Let's go from the bottom up and left. So first we check fuel selector. Yep, that's on. Next, Mixture, yep, it's full rich. Throttle would be up, we got that. We'll turn our carb heat on, just in case it was icing. We're already on because we're doing the simulated engine out. And then next we'd come over to the switch, try right mag versus left mag, maybe try to restart it, bumping it to start, but nothing's working. Engine's still dead. So at this point, we would squawk 7700. 700 and ident. Okay, and then we would tune 121. Actually, let's tune nav 1 here. 121.5. I'm losing sight of my airport ahead. There we go, swap that. Reset my view. Yep, there's my airport. Okay. So we've done that. Now we're talking to ATC or whoever's on 121, and we're telling them our situation. We have an engine out. We looks like we have Norwood made. They'll talk to traffic to them, and then we'll secure. So would then normally come down and shut the fuel off. Make sure the mixture's pulled full lean. Put the key to off. And we do have electric flaps on this, so we're not turning the master off until we're done with flaps. And we'll, like I said, unlatch the door, stow any loose baggage, and that's it. Now we're just going in. It looks like we're going to be there well above pattern altitude. So we might have to actually circle. And this is actually where that steep turn can come in. You can do that on your descents here. So because we're aiming straight for the airport, we want to be over our touchdown point, ideally. That's our key point. And then we can turn and basically make a mini pattern, like mini crosswind, downwind, and turn to final. I'm sorry, mini crosswind, downwind, base, and turn to final. But you may only be, a wing length, a wingspan distance away from the airport. So I'm going to turn my head tracking back on. Let's take a look at how we're doing. All right. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Still at 2,000 feet. Now, another thing we could do is go into a forward slip at this point to lose some altitude. We're looking pretty made, but we can S-turn as well. So let's do a little bit of S-turning. Try to maintain our 65. We don't want to speed up too much. And then we'll come this other way. We don't want to slow down too much either. And by the looks of it, let's do... That's our threshold. We're at 70. Let's do one... Let's get back to 65, actually. Let the trim take us back. Let's do one left-hand turn. We can do it somewhat steep, just as long as we... keep the speed. Nice 360 here. That's dropping our altitude pretty good. And where's our airport? There it is. So yeah, we got this field made, so let's keep our speed at 60, pop in some flaps. I'm actually going to pull a slip, which is I'm going to go full right rudder and left aileron. That'll get us to descend a bunch, put in the rest of my flaps. I do have a video on slipping and approaches, so if you want to check that out, you can learn a little more about these slips. There we are, full flaps. Take the slip out. And settle in on the runway. Boom. One emergency landing. Got a little hairy, totally unscripted, because I was just going with the flow. Whatever happened, happened. That was a very successful one. I have expected us to end up in a field somewhere. Anyways, if you'd like to see more of these, let me know. Give me some ideas in the comments, or about if you want to see it actually in grass on a highway or something like that. I'll see about maybe doing some of those. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little something. Again, I'm just practicing to try to get ready for recertification. Not sure when I'm going to do that, but not until I'm really comfortable with all my maneuvers in here. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.